Kyle Larson won his first ever very elusive Chili Bowl Nationals championship, and one of the first things he did was apologize to NASCAR fans. Let's talk about that. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. Yes, we're in front of a green screen again. This is what I'm doing until I can figure out where I'm actually gonna film these videos, over the next few months. Right now we just got a green screen and it's not even set up very well. This is a mirror right here. Look at this. I can high five myself. I don't know if you guys can see that actually. Because when you're a college student living in these small apartments and everything, you got roommates everywhere, you gotta share a lot of space, so I'm kind of just squeezing myself into this little corner here for the time being, but we're gonna figure things out. This show, again, is still kind of a work in progress over the next few months, but come summertime, hopefully we can do something a little bit exciting, a little bit more exciting with this show. But in the meantime, we're talking about racing. We're not really talking that much about NASCAR today. This is, again, kind of a one-off episode. So I really only have one thing to talk about in this episode, and it's Kyle Larson. Hopefully gonna be able to keep it pretty short because I don't really have any other topics. So, well, I said last night, but actually 2 nights ago, Saturday night, depends on when you're watching this. I'm filming this Sunday night, but assuming you're watching this Monday or after, Saturday night, Kyle Larson won his first ever Chili Bowl Nationals title. It's a huge dirt race, a huge event. Hundreds of drivers come from around the country, around the world even, to compete in this, it's like a week-long event down in Oklahoma. It's a slugfest. It's a really hard event to win unless your name's Christopher Bell. He's kind of dominated this thing the last several years until Larson got him last night. This is the event Larson was referring to when, I think it was last year, he infamously said that he would rather win the Chili Bowl Nationals than the Daytona 500. He was referring to this race. And those comments kind of gave Kyle Larson a reputation. And I'm not gonna say it's an unfair reputation, because I think it actually is a pretty fair reputation, but the reputation that he really cares more about dirt racing and his dirt endeavors than he does about his Cup Series future. I do think that's true. I think Kyle Larson does enjoy dirt racing more than he enjoys NASCAR racing. I think that is true. So with those comments in mind, with his kind of now built up reputation, last night or 2 nights ago, he finally won the Chili Bowl Nationals, an event he's tried over a decade to win, a huge deal for him. He said last night it's the biggest win of his career, and immediately after saying that, he then apologized to NASCAR, to Daytona, for those comments. Here's the clip.
I'm sorry NASCAR, I'm sorry Daytona, but this is the biggest effing race I've ever won. I hope to win Daytona in a few weeks, but this is badass.
He's once again bringing up, his infamous comments from a year ago when he originally said that. He's once again bringing those back to light because those comments over a year ago created quite the discussion, and his comments last night once again created a bit of a discussion. I tackled this discussion a little bit a few weeks back. Remember, a few weeks ago Kyle Larson was racing dirt down in New Zealand, was involved in a bad crash, and I talked about how it's bad crashes like those that are why some major Cup Series team owners are hesitant to let their drivers run dirt races. A lot of people have been linking Kyle Larson to possibly Hendrick Motorsports for 2021. Unfortunately for Larson, Rick Hendrick has infamously kind of limited what sort of dirt racing activities his drivers can participate in. I said in that video a few weeks ago that it's because of these facts, Larson's future Cup Series options could end up being limited. Maybe Rick Hendrick isn't going to give Larson what he wants, and that could cause Kyle Larson to maybe stay with Chip Ganassi long term, which, as good as Chip Ganassi racing is, I do think Larson could do better out there, but his insistence on racing dirt could hinder his future Cup Series opportunities because there are a lot of Cup Series team owners that don't want their guys racing in as many dirt races as Kyle Larson participates in. So that was my point in my video a few weeks ago. I still stand by that. I think that's 100% accurate, but you can't deny that Kyle Larson has a serious passion for dirt racing, and I don't think it's any NASCAR fan's right to question that or to criticize that. People got it backwards. They acted like I was criticizing Kyle Larson by saying those things I did, a few weeks back. No, I wasn't criticizing Kyle Larson at all. I'm criticizing, and if anything, I'm criticizing some of the team owners for being so stingy about what their drivers can participate in. But I said it then, I'll say it again now. I also understand that these team owners are investing millions of dollars into these drivers, so I think it is fair that Rick Hendrick has a say in what his drivers do in their off time. But my point is, after Kyle Larson made those comments last night, it once again raised the question of whether or not Larson should be more focused or more, kind to NASCAR and its traditions, or if Larson should continue to just embrace the fact that he loves dirt. That's been the debate. And I do want to make this clear. Kyle Larson is most definitely racing in the Cup Series to pay for his dirt racing. That is 100% true. That's not the only reason Kyle Larson's in the Cup Series. I think Kyle Larson also participates in the Cup Series because he wants to prove that he's the best driver in multiple disciplines of racing. He's already proven that he's one of the best in dirt, on dirt. He's one of the best in any sort of dirt race car. He still wants to go out and prove that he's one of the best in asphalt as well. So the competition aspect is definitely a driving factor in Larson's Cup Series career. But let's be honest, he races in the Cup Series because there's more money in the NASCAR Cup Series than in any other motorsport in America, and so that's why he's there. He is racing in the Cup Series for the money. The same way pretty much anyone in America gets up every day, goes to their job, and does so that they can feed their family, so that they can pay for a roof over their head. You know, everyone works for money. I mean, people can love their job. I love what I'm doing here. This is incredible. I have one of the coolest jobs in the world. But I'm doing this for money. If this didn't pay me at all, I probably wouldn't be doing this, at least not as much as I'm doing it right now. Everyone works for money, and who's to say what we spend our money on? You know, if I go work a 9-to-5 job and I want to spend my money, you know, going to football games, that's my right. Kyle Larson works 9 to 5 in NASCAR and then goes out in his extracurricular time and spends his money on dirt racing. I think we should honestly applaud that he's putting his money back into racing. He's keeping it close to home. I don't think it's any fan's right to criticize Kyle Larson for focusing so much on dirt, for valuing dirt racing more than he values NASCAR. He even said in that clip that he does still want to win Daytona. He holds Daytona to the highest regards. But I think NASCAR fans need to get off their high horse just a little bit here. I won't say it's very many NASCAR fans. To be honest, I've seen a lot of comments on social media of people kind of criticizing NASCAR fans for being up on their high horse. I haven't actually seen that many comments from NASCAR fans being arrogant. So I don't think it's very many NASCAR fans at all that need to hear this, but I do still want to get these thoughts out there in case there are fans that watch this or that, you know, just exist, that maybe we know, that maybe we see. I just want to make sure those fans do hear this opinion, this side of the story. Yes, NASCAR is the biggest motorsport in America, still to this day. As much as people want to deny it, it is. Not even close. And I think NASCAR fans need to be more secure in their motorsport when it comes to watching their drivers go race other places. You know, I think if NASCAR fans are really feeling threatened by Kyle Larson making comments like the ones he's made, you know, last year or last night, where he talks about how much dirt racing means to him, if NASCAR fans really feel threatened, or if NASCAR itself as a sanctioning body feels threatened by this at all, they need to get over themselves. NASCAR fans cannot allow themselves to feel threatened by comments like these. NASCAR, it's still in a good place. It's clearly the biggest motorsport in America. Who cares if one of your drivers loves racing dirt? I mean, Kyle Larson grew up on dirt racing. That's his history. That's his background. He's been trying to win this Chili Bowl race for years. He's been so close. Last year, he was so close to winning this race, and it's such a big deal around that community. Of course he's going to value this race extremely highly. I do think if there are any NASCAR fans out there that truly have an issue with Kyle Larson's insistence on winning in and competing in dirt, I just think that's wasted energy, in my opinion. I feel like now more than ever, American race fans, whether you're more of a NASCAR guy, more of an IndyCar person, more of an IMSA or sports car, more dirt, sprint cars, World of Outlaws, no matter what type of racing you prefer, I think it's more important now than ever that everyone kind of learns to get along more than anything. Like, I love this. NASCAR on their social media was tweeting and posting about the Chili Bowl. They were congratulating Kyle Larson for winning the Chili Bowl. You know, the Chili Bowl is not affiliated with NASCAR, and it really isn't at all, other than a few NASCAR drivers were racing in it this year. But beyond that, they have no direct affiliation. But I like that NASCAR using their reach, using their power to promote a major event in the dirt racing community. And I think that's a great thing. I don't know a lot of dirt fans, but the ones that I have talked to, I have found that there is a bit of a resentment around some of the dirt racing community towards NASCAR, because I think NASCAR is so big. NASCAR is taking a lot of dirt racing drivers from their ranks into the NASCAR. I mean, look, David Gravel is a big World of Outlaws guy. He's gonna be making some truck starts this year in the NASCAR Truck Series. So I understand there's some resentment there, but I think it's a really bad look if NASCAR fans start to resent other forms of motorsports just because they don't like that it's taking the attention away from stock car racing. Like, NASCAR is still the biggest motorsport in America. Nothing's going to change about that in the near future. I think NASCAR fans need to feel a little bit more secure about the sport that they love. The only person Kyle Larson is potentially hurting here is himself. If his focus on dirt racing does eventually get in the way of his Cup Series success, then, I mean, the only person that really affects is Larson. I mean, for Kyle Larson, I think people just need to kind of understand where his head is at. I think they just need to learn to accept it. I don't think there's any point in trying to force him to change. Like, he's not going to. He's not going to listen to what some fans have to say. Fans that probably weren't buying Kyle Larson gear to begin with. He's not going to care what they have to say. I think anytime a driver from one motorsport goes and races in another motorsport, another series, I think that's nothing but good news for both those series involved. And also for the driver. I think first and foremost, this is a good thing for the drivers to do. It gives the drivers more of a unique identity. It helps build up more of a local following for each driver. It's great when it comes to building those drivers' individual brands. I think Kyle Larson, he's considered one of the top young prospects in NASCAR these days, partially because he does have a pretty big following, largely due to his dirt racing background, his dirt racing success, and where he comes from. So I think it's really important for NASCAR drivers to continue to connect to their roots, and I think any NASCAR fan that has an issue with Kyle Larson going out and running dirt like this and caring about dirt as much as he does, I just think has their priorities wrong and needs to feel more secure in their own motorsport, so that they can just sit back and enjoy all forms of motorsports, you know? I didn't get to watch a whole lot of the Chili Bowl this weekend, but I did get to watch some of it. And the stuff I did watch, it was really fun. It was different than NASCAR, and that's not a bad thing. That's just different. It was very fun. Doesn't mean I like NASCAR any less now. It just means that, hey, there's another fun motorsport out here that I can relate to and I can enjoy. It's not a bad thing. I think American motorsports fans need to come together now more than ever and just accept that, you know? Anyway, this was kind of a rambling episode. Again, I didn't really have a plan, and of course I still have this weird green screen that's not lit very well. I have still this reflection. It's all a mess. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. That's all I had to say. I hope you guys maybe resonated with what I was talking about. Maybe I wasn't making any sense. Really don't know. I usually have notes before I go into these videos. I didn't have notes for this one much at all. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We talk about NASCAR. We talk about racing all throughout the week, every single week throughout the entire year. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters. These guys are awesome. Still in the process of restructuring. I'm really close. I'm starting to finalize some things, but if you want to support me, I'm going to be going to some more races this year, covering more races, going to more racetracks, doing meetups, providing more content and all that type of stuff. If you want to help support all of that here in 2020, go check out that top link down in the description. I greatly appreciate it, but thank you a ton to everyone on this list for your continued support. It means a lot to me. You have no idea. But anyway, yeah, that's all I've got. Thank you guys a ton for watching. I will see you again very, very soon. Have a great rest of your weekend, or I guess it's Monday now. Great start to your week. Hope it's a great one. Have a good one, everyone. I say good a lot. I say good and great a whole lot in this show. I feel like I sound like a broken record sometimes. Honestly, have fun, y'all.